Revenge films.
My wife, Lavina, and I were an ordinary married couple. However, one day, I was thrust into hell. That day, I went home at the same time as always. But when I got off the train, I received a message from Lavina. She told me that she had an important matter to discuss with me, so I had to go home as early as possible. I had no clue what kind of matter needed discussing, because I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary when I left the house for work that morning. I had no idea what this matter might be. That's why I was restless and nervous on my way home. I could tell by the way she worded her message that this was not a good matter to discuss about. I wasn't wrong about that prediction. When I arrived home, a man I'd never seen before was sitting on the couch with my wife. "Lavina and I have a baby. I will take responsibility, so please, break up with her," this mysterious man said to my face. It was a bolt out of the blue. My mind couldn't keep up with what was happening in front of me. Wait a second. What do you mean? What do I mean? I mean exactly what I said. Your wife is pregnant with my baby, so please, break up with her.
I want to be with Ivan, so let's get a divorce.
Lavina was sitting on our couch in our living room with a man I'd never seen before who apparently got her pregnant. She held the man's hand and begged me to get a divorce. It's sad to say, but I could tell that she was head over heels for him. Seriously? You've got to be kidding me! There's no way I'll allow you to do that!
But the father of this baby inside my belly is Ivan.
Yes, that's right. Lavina chose me over you. What? You've got to be kidding me! Get out of here! Both of you! Out of here! Now! After I pushed them out of the house, I broke into tears by the front door. I thought about why this happened, what I did wrong for us to end up in this situation, and when my wife started having an affair with that man. I tried to think and think and think, but I couldn't conclude, and the world around me went black. The next day arrived, but nothing changed. If I didn't do anything about this, I knew that I would break. So I decided to call my close friend. After I told him everything that happened, he suggested that I immediately hire a lawyer. So I decided to listen to his advice and hired a lawyer. However, a few days after Lavina walked out of the house with the man, she came back home a few days later by herself. It was a weekday, so I went to work that day. But when I arrived home, I noticed that the lights in the house were on. I was shocked that all the lights were on. At first, I thought that I might have just forgotten to turn them off. But I thought it was weird because everything was on. When I arrived at the front door, I was even more surprised to find that the door was unlocked. Dreading that a burglar might be inside the house, I slowly and carefully walked inside. What shocked me even more was the identity of the person. It was Lavina! What are you doing here?
Oh, welcome home, love. What do you mean? I'm cooking dinner, can't you tell?
Stop messing with me! Why are you inside this house like nothing happened? You had an affair! What's even more disturbing is that you're pregnant with another man's baby! Do you even understand the situation? Lavina's response shocked me even more.
The baby in my belly is your child, you know? I was just mistaken about this baby being Ivan's. It's not Ivan's baby after all.
Stop messing with me! I heard loud and clear with my ears that you got pregnant with that man's baby!
That's why I'm saying that this was just a mistake about who the father is. I did have an affair with another man. I'm not denying that. But this child is yours, you know?
What in the world are you saying? When you already admitted that you slept with another man? That's enough! Get out of this house! I grabbed her arm, but she clung onto me and said,
Please forgive me, love. I will apologize, so please. I'm sorry.
I was shocked by Lavina's behavior this time because it was completely different from how she acted that day. After that, Lavina kept on talking on and on and on, so I learned why she came back to the house alone. After Lavina and the man walked out of the house, they happily headed to the man's house. The man came from quite a wealthy family, so his father didn't accept the baby who was made out of a love affair. Of course, remarrying is never an option, and if the man ever wants to be with Lavina, he won't be allowed to inherit anything from his family. Hearing his father threaten him, his demeanor changed, and he got rid of Lavina and the baby. Lavina had nowhere to go, so she came back to the house and she told me that the baby was mine. You've got to be kidding me. The father of the baby in your belly is no doubt that man. Make him acknowledge that the baby belongs to him.
He and I are over. We were just playing and having a little fun. I truly feel sorry for what I've done.
Oh, you're sorry now? Your apology does not resonate in my heart at all. If you don't get out of here, I'll be the one to leave. My mind is set on getting a divorce, and I will properly demand alimony from you. So you better brace yourself.
Derek, wait!
Lavina begged me to stay, but I walked out of the house and I stayed at a hotel that night. I then talked to my lawyer again, and I then demanded alimony from both Lavina and the man. A few days later, my mother-in-law heard about the situation. She brought Lavina with her, and they barged into my house. Frankly speaking, I hated my mother-in-law. The moment they arrived, my mother-in-law looked at me and said,
Derek, Lavinia is asking you to start over, but you rejected her and you even demanded alimony from her.
"Of course I did. That's what anyone would do if they were in my situation. You are aware of the reason why it has come to this, aren't you?"
Yes, of course I know. Flavavina had an affair, right? But the reason why she did is because you didn't give her the love and attention that she needed, right? Besides, my daughter has apologized again and again. Why haven't you still forgiven her?
My mother-in-law was completely Lavina's ally, and she lashed out her unreasonable anger at me.
You're demanding alimony from her, but the reality is that you just want to take money from her, don't you?
Of course not. It's not that I want money. I'm just demanding alimony for the scar that she left in my heart for cheating on me with another man.
Stop nitpicking like that. Can't you see that my daughter is properly apologizing? All you have to do is accept what happened and apologize too. You're such a greedy man. You just want to get money from my daughter because you don't earn that much.
My income's not as low as she says, but it seems like my mother-in-law wanted her daughter to marry a wealthier man, so she always looked down on me. She apparently was furious because I didn't accept Lavina's apology for having an affair with another man. "Would you be able to forgive your husband if he did the same thing to you?" I asked. To which she replied,
We're talking about your problem right now.
"It's more like her daughter's problem than mine." I heard that a divorce is more exhausting than a wedding, but I realized at that time that it was true. I truly realized that day that marriage is not just the union of two individuals. I forced my wife and mother-in-law out of the house that day, but they refused to listen when I told them to speak to me through a lawyer. I really didn't know what to do anymore. Anyway, I heard that the man's side was steadily advanced because I sent a content-certified letter to his parents and his boss. It seems like he was in sales, and since he worked at a company that puts trust above anything else, there was no way they would allow a man who had a love affair to continue working on sales. So he was moved to a new post. The man was having an affair with my wife at that time, but for some reason, he was confident with being in my house. And it felt very strange that he looked so unconcerned. I have a calm and collected personality, so Lavina thought that if she stood firm, I would eventually agree to get a divorce. That's what she apparently ingrained in his mind. So it seemed like he didn't expect me to expose him to his boss. I didn't know what to feel when I realized that such an idiot fell for Lavina's whims. The man was fired from his job, but apparently, his parents were the type to care about what other people think of them. So they told me that they will pay me a handsome amount of money as an alimony payment for their son's behavior. They paid me without a hitch. After that, I heard that the man's parents disowned him. It meant that he lost his right to inherit his family's wealth. The only problem that needed to be dealt with was my wife. But since that day, Lavina and her mother continuously stormed into my house for several days straight. I grew more and more stressed each day because of them. However, one day, my father-in-law marched to my house, and then he said, "I was wondering where the two of you went every single day. Do either of you have any idea that what you're doing is a very shameless act? I've been working my hardest every day to provide for my family. Not only did you betray me, but you also took sides with our daughter, who clearly did something unforgivable. Do you really think that's what a mother should be doing? Both of you are shameless. Do you have no idea how irresponsible and selfish our daughter's actions were?" My father-in-law was beyond furious. Both Lavina and my mother-in-law shriveled, because never had they ever thought that my father-in-law would follow them here.
But honey, there is a baby inside Lavinia's belly.
But Derek's not the father of the baby, is he? How do you expect him to raise someone else's child, you morons?
Heep!
I will never allow you to come here again. Besides, it's just normal that he would demand alimony from you. Learn how it feels not to be able to rebuild with someone who betrayed you. My father-in-law was enraged and dragged them home. After that, the divorce went without a hitch, and I received the alimony payment. My ex-wife apparently wasn't able to afford to pay the alimony, so my father-in-law paid it in the meantime. But from now on, it seems that my ex-wife has to work without spending on unnecessary stuff. Lavina will be going back and forth between her parents' house and the workplace as soon as she gives birth to the baby. She will continue to work until she finishes paying back the tens of thousands of dollars in alimony to her father. Well, the baby is innocent and is not to blame for anything, so they said that they would hire a babysitter to take care of him or her for the time being. As for my mother-in-law, she's been living without inconvenience until now, but if she's stuck doing nothing in the house, my father-in-law thought that she would think of evil things, so he made her work part-time scrubbing the floor. She got what she deserved. It started with my wife and her lover, then my mother-in-law joined along the way, but things got more peaceful around me. I was surrounded by crazy, unreasonable people, and it ate out of my mental health. But I'm truly thankful that my father-in-law is a sane person.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.